In this video, I'll be sharing about our recent trip that we took cross-country to visit family, and I'll also be sharing how I was still able to take care of my family and stick to some of my regular homemaking routines, just because I personally am very passionate about homemaking, so I still like to stick to some level of homemaking even when we're away from home. Most of us and my family get stomach aches when we travel. Maybe it's just kind of uneasiness, maybe nervousness, or just overly excited. So for this trip, I decided that we will not be buying any airport food, any kind of fast food, and so I am prepping homemade granola bars, and I have already prepped in the fridge homemade burgers. I bought the buns from the store, but I made my own mayo and my own burger patties, so I made burgers and stored them in the fridge, and we'll be packing them away in a lunchbox, and we'll be taking the granola bars and the burgers, and those are totally okay to go through TSA. They'll let you take homemade food as long as there's no liquids in there, so that's what we're doing this trip. We have a very early morning flight, so we didn't really get to sleep, and I didn't even go down to take a nap or anything. There wasn't really any time by the time I finished everything I needed to do, and then I still needed to pack. But regardless, we are excited. Everyone was super tired, so most of us slept the whole way there, which was nice. It actually speeds up the time. The kids were so excited to make it to Grandma's and Grandpa's house, and we dropped them off, and right away we went to get Mark a haircut at his favorite place when we lived here, and we visited our old house that we sold just before we moved. My entire side of the family lives in Seattle, so it's always really special when we come to visit every year and get to see everybody, my parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews. And today we got to celebrate our oldest daughter's 13th birthday. That was really special. One of my aunts invited me and my sisters over for coffee, so we got to enjoy some time together, and boy did I enjoy the view from her home. It's absolutely beautiful. The next day, my nephews had their birthday celebration at the skating place, and my kids really enjoyed that. They got to spend more time with cousins. While in Seattle, of course, Mark and I had to visit some of our favorite coffee places. Then our oldest son went on a fishing trip with my dad, which was really special. They went out on the boat, spent the night there. He had a really great time. Something I never paid attention to when we actually lived in Washington State is all the wild blackberries growing everywhere. And my kids were really excited, and we just picked them and ate them, and we picked enough to make some jam out of it later. While our son came back from the fishing trip, and Grandpa is teaching him how to clean a fish. And now we are on our way to my sister's and her husband's Airbnb at the beach, and we will be spending an entire week there. One of my favorite things about visiting Washington State is all the water surrounding everywhere, because my family lives in the Puget Sound area, and I've always loved the ocean, and I always appreciate the beautiful Washington nature. So we finally made it to the beach house, and we're getting settled, and this is the view from our bedroom. It's just absolutely beautiful. You open the door and it's just crisp, fresh sea air, and the views of the evergreen trees and the ocean is just perfect. On our first morning at the beach house, I'm preparing oatmeal and bacon. And in our oatmeal, once it's cooked, I add butter and maple syrup and a little bit of brown sugar, and it gives it the most amazing taste. So I have a lot of siblings that live here. I mean, all of them live here, but there's a lot of us. And throughout the week, different siblings will be coming, staying a night and going back based on their schedules and however they're able to. But we'll be staying at the beach house for a full week, and then they'll be just visiting us as they can. On our second morning at the beach house, I am working on some cinnamon rolls. The dough has been fermenting all night and it's ready to work with in the morning. I will post the recipe below as well as the granola bars that I made earlier in the video, so you can grab the recipe if you'd like. These sourdough cinnamon rolls are absolutely amazing. My dad's favorite hobby is fishing, so every time we visit, he'll take the grandkids on a fishing trip, and naturally at the beach house, of course, they'll be fishing together. That morning, I fed the starter that my sister gave to me to use while I'm visiting, and right now I'm working on some sourdough bread because bread is definitely something I always love to have on hand, whether at home or vacationing. At home, the kids make their own beds in the morning, but because we're on vacation, I wasn't really pressing them to clean up in the mornings. They just kind of wake up and run out of the room because they're so excited. So I was okay with that, and I was okay with cleaning up their rooms for them. And this room that they're staying in is just so cozy, and it has a view of the woods outside, and then there's a loft up following that ladder, and that's where the kids liked to sleep. I don't know if it's just me, but the smell of bacon is just very warming to me. It just makes me feel cozy. Like when there's chilly weather outside, it just smells like coziness. And I loved preparing bacon while at the beach house. I just thought it was very appropriate for the scenery and the situation. And so pretty much every morning at the beach house, we had bacon for breakfast. Now we're headed out to explore the local town. We'll be playing at the playground. There's a really nice playground here for the kids, and then grabbing some pizza, some local pizza, and coming back to the playground to spend more time there and just letting the kids get their energy out before we head back to the beach house. Because I'm such a food person, I absolutely love going out and tasting local food whenever we're visiting places. And this pizza place was really, really good. Very delicious pizza crust, toppings, everything tasted very fresh, very good. So I'm really glad we were able to have lunch here. When we arrived back to the Airbnb in the evening, we were able to see a deer up close eating leaves, and it was just really sweet for the kids to be able to see that. And on top of that, we got to see the most beautiful sunset from the balcony. It was also really special because we got to celebrate my early birthday there with my parents and my siblings. One habit that we formed from homeschool is whenever we're outside, for the kids to be able to appreciate and notice different types of nature. On Saturday morning, one of my sisters and our kids went to the local farmer's market. That was really fun. We got to see different creators selling their things that they handmade, and it was really fun to be able to support local small businesses. Once that week was up, we headed back to my parents' house from the beach house to spend the last couple of days with them. We had a wonderful trip visiting family, making special memories, but we are really glad to be back home because home is home, and that's always our favorite place to be. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.